If there's one thing to be learned here, it's that if you create your own computer or dream world to explore, you might want to do your best not to get stuck there for all of eternity. This is Movie Night. Hello and welcome to this, a special Friday edition of Movie Night. I'm your host, Jonathan Paula. Tonight we'll be discussing two of the most hyped films of 2010, the first of which was released just earlier today. Tron Legacy, the long-awaited sequel to the sci-fi action classic from 1982, picks up right where the original left off. Computer programmer and ENCOM CEO Kevin Flynn, portrayed by a computer-generated younger version of Jeff Bridges, is regaling his 6-year-old son with tales of his adventures inside the computer grid, which we're familiar with from the first movie. But then, when Kevin goes missing for 21 years, the story picks up in present time, and we're following Sam, now a defiant 27-year-old motorcycling programmer of his own right, played by Garrett Hedlund, in search of his father, whom he eventually has learned has been trapped inside the computer grid for over 2 decades. As with the original, Tron Legacy is a visual marvel. Director Joseph Kosinski not only successfully updates and adapts the concepts from Tron, he also builds upon them, introducing us to an entirely new but familiar computer world. The disc-flinging gladiator games and light cycle elements are revisited, and as expected, are furiously fast and expertly executed using today's modern CGI technology. All of it backed up by a wonderfully original score by Daft Punk for most of the film. New vehicles like an off-road four-wheeler and light-fighting airplanes add to the visual excitement. But while these futuristic action sequences are a blast to watch, the movie needs character and heart to truly succeed. Ultimately, as the title suggests, Tron Legacy is about Sam's quest to find and his relationship with his father, played by the bearded, human Jeff Bridges, who has been trapped in the grid by Clue, a program originally designed by and to look like Kevin before it turned evil. Unfortunately, though, this father-son relationship is mostly underutilized as the emotional backbone the film requires it to be, instead serving more as a plot point to give the character somewhere to go next. Olivia Wilde, Martin Sheen, and Bruce Boxleitner round out the supporting cast with decent, if unmemorable, performances, with Boxleitner reprising his roles of Alan Bradley and Tron from the original film. Curiously though, the Tron character here is a much minor component than the first time around, relegated to just a few minutes of screen time in a unexplained villain role. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of this sci-fi adventure are the effects utilized to create a 30-year-old Jeff Bridges to portray Clue. The resemblance here is far outside the depths of the uncanny valley, to the point where in 90% of the scenes you'd think they just filmed this thing in the 1980s. So of course one of the film's biggest payoff arrives when the older Jeff Bridges has to do battle with his younger self. An ambitiously impressive scene that was not even possible with visual effects just a few years ago. If you enjoyed the original, or don't mind style over substance, Tron Legacy is a beautifully entertaining film that carries the Tron franchise boldly into the 21st century. Sadly shallow, but engrossingly stunning. Well, that's what I thought about this 28-year-old sequel. Now let's see what you had to say in the YouTube comments. And in comes the Ratomatic to show us how we scored Tron Legacy. An 8 and an 8. As you well know by now, I have a soft spot for sci-fi action films, so I was really pleased with this movie, even if it did fall short in a few of the character areas. Perhaps going off mostly the trailers and the hype, the few of you who were able to review this film mostly praised it for its visuals, also scoring it a great. Now let's turn our attention to the depths of our own minds and review Inception. Released nationwide on July 16th, this latest sci-fi action thriller from critically acclaimed director Christopher Nolan grossed over $800 million and quickly became one of the highest rated films of all time. If you haven't seen it yet, well, what I'm about to tell you will likely be a bit confusing, but here's a quick plot synopsis for you. Leonardo DiCaprio is Dominic Cobb, a man who is tasked with sneaking into someone's dream and planting an original idea in the furthest depths of their mind, a practice known in the film as Inception. Cobb recruits a team, and by using a dream-within-a-dream approach, they attempt to navigate the subconscious world of their target and plant an idea that'll benefit Cobb's employer. Following his long tradition of incredible films like Memento, Prestige, and The Dark Knight, Nolan has once again hit the ball out of the park here, delivering an expertly crafted world within a world for our minds to be completely drawn into for the 148-minute runtime. Inception's most impressive accomplishment is not the engrossing story, awe-inspiring visuals, or the nail-biting action sequences, but rather the chilling accuracy at which it's able to recreate the experience and emotion we all have with dreaming. Because of this, nothing in Inception is wildly unbelievable or even unfamiliar, even in the movie's amazingly well-filmed zero-gravity scenes. In filmmaking, it's easy to turn a dreamscape into an impossible utopian fantasy, or a filth-ridden hellhole. Instead, Nolan presents us with a realistic portrayal of everyone's subconscious, a seemingly normal environment with the occasional quirk or irregularity that would go unnoticed to the dreamer. Cobb and his team then attempt to exploit these irregularities they've created to finish the Inception. From a visual standpoint, Inception's lush and massive landscapes are nothing short of breathtaking, truly transporting the audience to another world for every level that Cobb goes deeper into a dream. DiCaprio is, as always, fantastic in the lead role here, but so is the entire supporting cast: Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ellen Page, Cillian Murphy, Ken Watanabe, and especially Marion Cotillard, who are all fantastic in their respective roles. Sadly though, with the exception of Cobb and his family, none of the characters in this movie really receive any backstory or character development. In fact, many don't even have last names. It's the movie's lone flaw which unfortunately emotionally disconnects the audience from much of the action on screen. Luckily, the visuals, plot, and another outstanding soundtrack by Hans Zimmer will keep you more than invested in this modern classic. A stimulating thriller with fantastic environments. Well, that's what I thought about Inception. Now let's see what you had to say in the YouTube comments. Here's the Ratomatic now to tell us how we rated Inception. An awesome and an amazing. An incredible movie, as I said, but the lack of character development left me a bit separated from some of the scenes in the movie. I scored it a 9. No surprise here though, you overwhelmingly loved this movie, praising everything from the visuals to the soundtrack, but mostly the complex and thought-provoking story, scoring it a 10. Well, that does it for tonight's films. Now let's take a look at some tweet critiques. Remember, if you're going to the movies this weekend, submit your Twitter review with the JPMN hashtag to have it featured on an upcoming episode. Next week, we'll be taking a look at some of the best and worst Christmas movies ever made, so please click the link below to vote for your favorites. As always, my name is Jonathan Paula. Thank you for watching Movie Night. I hope to see you right back here next Wednesday. Oh, and in case you're wondering what I thought about the ending to Inception, spoiler alert, I think it was reality. We don't need to see Cobb's totem topple over at the end to know if he's in a dream or not, because we do see his children's faces. And it's shown to us earlier in the movie that he's not able to see his kids' faces when he's in a dream. So at the end, when he does, we know he's not. The totem kind of going, and then the movie cuts to black? No real meaning behind that. That's just Chris Nolan being kind of a dick. Thank you for watching, folks.